Hi guys. As you can see, I'm doing this one after school. I tried twice to make it during class and it just didn't work. My computer just kept messing up. So we're going to go ahead and work on this worksheet. I'm only doing 4 of these. And then Thursday, we're going to go ahead and finish it. So I'm going to just show you just the first 4 of these, just the first 4. So we're still looking at our trig functions. The trig functions haven't changed. I'm going to write it slightly different because this time I do know the degree. So I have sine of the degree equals, and then the fraction never ever changes, opposite over hypotenuse. So the only big thing is I wrote degree there as opposed to a question mark because I know what the degree is this time. The unknown is going to be one of these 2 things. So I'm going to do the same thing for the others. Cosine of the degree equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and then tangent of the degree equals opposite over adjacent. So those are my 3 trig functions. Now, because I'm doing this after class, after school, if you need to pause it to get those written down, pause it. So that way you can get them written down. So let me go ahead and move to number 1. I'm going to make it nice and big so we can see it. So number 1, we're going to do this the same way as I've done every other problem so far. We're going to mark our sides first. I always mark the hypotenuse first. It never moves. It's always across from the 90. So 90, that's the hypotenuse. I'm giving you the angle. So again, the x must be the opposite. Because I always look for the angle, walk across the triangle. That's the O. So this must be the A, but there's nothing there. So now that I know what sides we're using, we can go ahead and pick our trig function. Now I can't use A because there's nothing there. So I need to pick a trig function that uses an O and an H. So my trig function is going to have to be sine because that's what uses an O and an H. The other ones all use an A. Now this first one, I'm going to write everything out. And then after that, I'm going to kind of start shortcutting a little bit. So sine of the degree, opposite over hypotenuse. I know the degree. So sine of 17 equals opposite hypotenuse, x over 20. So x on top, 20 on bottom. So there's my set. Well, I've got to solve for x. So if I'm going to solve for x, I got to move the 20. Well, this is x divided by 20. Fractions are just division. So the opposite of divide is to multiply. So I'm going to end up multiplying both sides by 20. So I end up getting sine 17. The 20 can also come down. So 20 times sine 17 equals, the 20's gone over here now, x. So there's my setup. That's what's going to have to go in the calculator. That's what goes in the calculator. Now, I'm going to go ahead and write the answer. Then I'll go ahead and switch to the calculator so that way you can see what it comes up as. So you end up getting 5.8 equals x. Round to the nearest tenth on these, which is one number after the decimal. So that's the answer. Now, let me go ahead and switch to the calculator so you can see the calculator step. So the calculator. We're going to do 20 times sine 17. Just like it was on the board. Really no differences. I hit enter. I get 5.84. The 4 would not change the 8, so that's why we got the 5.8. So that's the answer to number 1. That's how I got that answer. Now let's go and take a look at number 2. Number 2. I've got my triangle. Here's my triangle. I'm going to mark it the same way I said before. Here's my 90, so this must be hypotenuse. Here's my angle, so this must be opposite, and I have adjacent. So there's my three sides. Same as last time. There's nothing on A, so I can't use it. So I must be using sine again. So sine of the degree equals 12 over x. Opposite over hypotenuse. 12 over x. Now, if you notice, now it's a little bit different this time. Because last time I had x on top, the number on bottom. This one, the x is on bottom. So what I'm going to end up having to do is, I would still multiply by x. And I was telling the students in class, don't write this down for a moment, and then I'll tell you what to write down. So let me just show you what we're doing, but don't write it down. We're going to multiply these two. So x times sine 72 equals 12. I'm still trying to get x by itself, so now I got to move sine 72. I would do that by dividing. So x equals 12 divided by sine 72. So if you look from this one to this one, the only difference is these two things I'm going to switch. So if the variable's on bottom, we're going to end up switching those two in the long run. Now, there's other steps I could take, but that's the important thing to remember. Trade these two things out. So I'm going to get rid of this step. And then this is what you need to know how to do. So when you trade these, x is on the left, 12 didn't move, sine 72 is on the bottom. That's what's going to go in the calculator. Now, again, I'm going to put the answer, then I'll move to the calculator. So my answer is going to be x equals 12.6. So I got a 12.6 there. Now, let me go ahead and move to the calculator so you can see what gets typed in. So here, I'm going to go 12, divide this time, sine 72. So just like it was on the board, because division's fractions, I get equals, I get 12.61. The 1 would not change the 6. So that's where the 12.6 came from. That's the 12.6. So that's your answer. I'm going to do two more. Number 3. So number 3, mark your three sides. Here's my 90, hypotenuse. Here's my angle, opposite. So this must be adjacent. So this time, I can't use the L because there's nothing there. I can only use an A and an H, which must be cosine. So cosine of the degree, which is 23, equals AH, x 19. Now that's like the first one. I got an x on top, a number on bottom. So all I have to do is get rid of it, divide by 19, by multiplying by 19. And that's what I get. Now I'm not going to go ahead and switch to the calculator again, but you're just going to type it in just like you see it. You end up getting on this one 17.5. So 17.5 equals x. 17.5. Let me go ahead and do one more. Number 4. Mark your three sides. And that's definitely the most important thing. I mean, everything's important, but 7 chances out of 10, if somebody makes a mistake, it's on this first step. You're not marking the sides right. So be really careful when you mark these sides. So 90, this must be H. Angle, this must be opposite. This must be A. Mark them side. Mark those sides. Be really careful. It's another cosine. I can't use the O. I can only use an A and an H. So cosine of the degree equals AH 11 over X. So 11 over X. There's my set. Now this is like number 2. I got a number on top and a variable on bottom. So same as what I did before, I just need to know that if it looks like this, I've got to trade those two. So when I trade them, the X is going to move over here. The 11 doesn't move. Cosine 72 slides to the bottom here. That's what goes in the calculator. 11 divided by cosine 72. That's my set. So now I can go ahead, that goes in. My answer is going to end up being X equals 35.6. 35.6. Now, those of you watching, I was telling the students today that tomorrow there's no new worksheets. I gave these 4. If we need to see a couple more examples tomorrow, I'll do some more examples tomorrow. And then you'll have a chance to finish this. Any other thing that's missing, students will have a chance to work on tomorrow. That includes the day 3 special right triangles, which was a graded worksheet. I have a lot of students who have not turned that in yet. So make sure, those of you that are home, this is going to get finished tomorrow. The day 3, if that's not done, you really need to do that for homework. So that way I can check that tomorrow. And we'll go from there. So, those 4, we're going to finish it up tomorrow. Bye-bye.